Good afternoon to all of you. I am JB Singh. I hope you all will enjoy the lecture for basic electrical engineering. It will be very interesting subject and total conceptual subject. I already told in your orientation program. If you know the concept, this subject will become very easy to you. But if you are not able to get the concept, the same subject will be very difficult to you all. So I am telling you before starting the lecture that practice well for this subject. If you are doing practice, definitely this subject will be very easy to you all. But if you are not practicing well, that will create a problem to you. Why I am telling this? Because from last 5 years, what I am experienced over there, whenever you are going for this particular subject, you miss the concepts and you are not able to get the pass. So anyhow, your target should be all clear for first semester. Every year I am suggesting for all the students that your target should be you have to pass anyhow. So I hope you will got the point what I am going to explain over there. I am going to explain what is the basic electrical engineering with your scheme when the subject is changed, what the content is changed, what is the use of this subject, what are the applications of this subject, what are the outcomes of this subject, what are the objective of this particular subject, what are the lectures we are going to take for this particular subject, how many lectures are required, what we will discuss in a lecture wise lecture. Everything I will explain on this particular lecture. Then we will go slowly for our topic, that basic. So I hope you will enjoy. Let's start our first lecture for basic electrical engineering, that is a BEE. Initially at 2015 its name was BEE itself, but full form was Basic Electrical and Electronics. Then its name is changed in 2016, that Basic Electrical Engineering. Now itself its name is Basic Electrical Engineering, but content is changed. So what the content is changed and why they will change, why they change the content, I will explain. First of all, I am presenting you a scheme with which scheme the syllabus is designed and how many numbers we are required for this particular subject. This is our scheme. So this code of our subject, this is important. What is the code of this subject? This code of this subject is FEC 105. The name of the subject is Basic Electrical Engineering. We are required 3 hours in a week. What is the scheme for examination? So in our college there is a pattern that you have to give a 2 unit test. All the unit tests are carrying 20 marks. And at the last, you have to take the average of both two tests. Suppose for test 1, you are getting some X marks, and for test 2, you are getting Y marks. So at the last, you have to take the average of X and Y, and the marks, what is the average of X and Y, that will be out of 20. This is Z, for example. So whatever the number of marks you are getting in unit test 1 and 2, you have to take an average that is out of 20. And at the end semester, you have an exam for 80 marks. So out of 80, whatever the marks you are getting, that you add with this, getting average of internal assessment. So that means total BEE is theoretical way you are having 20 plus 80 marks paper, that is for 100 marks. So out of 20, you are required 8 minimum marks for passing, and out of 80, you are required 32 minimum marks for passing. Okay, so I hope this is enough for the scheme. Now, what is the objective of this particular subject that I am going to explain? We have to move with the objective and outcomes. What are the objective of this subject? That means if you are going to somewhere, so you should think what we have to do, that we have to know. So if we are going for basic electrical engineering, so what we are going to learn for this particular subject? What is the DC? Because we are going to study about DC and AC. So what are the applications of DC and AC? That is the important thing for us. So we have to know where we can apply this basic electrical engineering, that is called objective. So what are the objectives are there? First objective, to provide knowledge of fundamental of DC circuit and single phase AC circuits and its application. Means you know what is the DC circuit and what is the AC circuit, but where we can apply, that is very important thing to learn. That we will go to learn in this particular subject. Then if we are talking about second objective, to include knowledge of the basic operation and performance of single phase transformer. Means along with the DC and AC, we have to know what is the transformer and where we are using the transformer. That is the important thing for you, that we have to know what we are going to learn about transformer also. So that is a single phase transformer. So we have to know where we have to use the single phase transformer. Transformer is itself a one subject in electrical engineering department, that we are having a single phase transformer and a three phase transformer. You know, in the transmission line, distribution line, everywhere we are using transformers. Transformers is basically which can transfer our energy from higher potential to the lower potential or lower potential to the higher potential. Means it will not change the power, it just change our voltage level or current level. Either it can increase the voltage level or it can decrease the voltage level. Vice versa, current will change. If voltage is increasing, current will reduce. If current is not increasing, your voltage will reduce. This is the concept of transformer. In case of transformer, frequency should be constant. You know, in India we are using 50 Hertz frequency. So that should be constant. Power should be constant whenever we are transferring our power from one place to another place by the use of transformer. But what is going to change? Voltage and current. If voltage is increasing, current will reduce, because power is product of voltage and current. So if power is constant, so if one digit is increasing, like voltage is increasing, so definitely current will reduce. This is the concept of transformer. Now, to provide knowledge of fundamental DC and AC machine, any type of machine, either it is a DC machine and AC machine, but anyhow we have to know little bit knowledge. Either we are from computer engineering department, IT department, chemical, mechanical, civil, any other than electrical department, then also you have to know about DC and AC machine fundamentals. Why? What is the requirement of the machines? You know, if you are going in a robotics part, means if you are designing a software and you want to install in any robot, so you have to know which type of machine they are using. Either they are using DC machine or AC machine, either induction machine, synchronous machine. A lot of machines are there. So which machine they are going to use? And if they are using a particular machine, so what is the function of that machine? Means what is the rotation of that machine? What is the poles are there? What is the role of poles? So many things you have to know. Either you are any type of engineer other than electrical department. That's why in basic electrical engineering, they are introduced little bit knowledge of DC as well as AC machines. Then these are the objectives of basic electrical engineering. And what are the outcomes? You know, nowadays, whatever the college is there, everyone is designing our course according to the outcomes. Any committee listed in the college, for example, NBA, NAC, everyone wants that what is the outcome of your teaching? What is the outcome of your learning? That is the important thing. Means if you are studying a particular subject, what you are going to learn from that particular subject, that is the basic thing. So after completing each and every module, at least you have to know about that particular module. That's why entire syllabus is designed according to the outcomes. So our education system is changed from conventional way to outcome based learning. So always you will learn about this particular name, that is called outcomes. So everywhere, if you want to go in any particular software company, hardware company, they want outcomes from that particular thing. So that's why everything is changed nowadays in the terms of outcomes. So what are the outcomes? So we, always if we are having 6 modules, we are having 6 outcomes. So every module is having at least one outcome. So look, first outcome if we are talking about, that is the apply various network theorems. So what are the theorems? Means you know, if you want to find a current from a particular circuit, what you will do? You can apply your Ohm's law. You know the Ohm's law, I equal to V upon R. So you can get the current. But you know, if you are having a large circuit, you are not able to get that current with the use of Ohm's law itself. So for that, we are using different kinds of theorems. So we are having like mesh analysis, nodal analysis, super mesh, super node, KVL, KCL. We are having superposition theorem, Thevenin theorem, Norton theorem, maximum power theorem. That is in your syllabus. Other than this, we are having Melgen's theorem, Telgen's theorem, and a lot of theorems are there. So we have to learn about the theorems, how we will apply that particular theorem for finding current from a given circuit. So that is our first outcome, means we have to learn about different kinds of theorems. Next, second, evaluate the analysis of single phase circuits. You know, we are having single phase as well as a three phase. So if we are having a single phase, how we can evaluate that, means how we can get the current value, voltage value, power in a particular branch, that you have to able to find after going through with this particular basic electrical engineering subject. At least you have to know how to apply the theorems. You have to know how to analyze that single phase circuit. Likewise, how we can analyze a three phase circuit, that is our third outcome. Then fourth one, understand the construction feature of single phase transformer, which I already explained, that after going through this subject, how we can operate a single phase transformer, where we can use that single phase transformer. Then if we are talking about illustrate the working principle of three phase machine, we have to know at least working of three phase machine, because single phase and three phase, we are having two type of machine. So single phase will work with a three phase supply, and three phase supply itself is having RMF. RMF means rotating magnetic field. So what we will do for starting, I will explain when I will explain three phase machine. Then what you have to know? You have to know the principal working of single phase machine. So for three phase machine, I will explain induction machine, and single phase machine also I will explain induction machine. And in single phase machine, I will also explain about a DC machine. Three phase induction machine, single phase induction machine, and single phase DC machine. I will explain these all things. So this is our scheme, objective and outcomes for this particular subject. Now I am going to introduce your content according to the lecture wise. How many lectures I am going to take and what I am going to cover on that particular lecture that I am going to present over there. Look, I am presenting first syllabus, then lectures. This is a free request, means before going for basic electrical engineering subject, these all things you have to know very well. Okay, so I hope you all know what is resistance, what is inductance, and what is capacitance. You all know. So what are the basic difference resistor, inductor, and capacitor? Students are sometimes they are not able to analyze the difference between a resistor and resistance, inductor and inductance, capacitor and capacitance. So you should know that RLC, which is represented over there, that is called a resistor, inductor and capacitor. The value of resistor, inductor, capacitor is called resistance, inductance and capacitance. Now if we are talking about resistance, so we know resistance equal to R equal to rho L by A. A is the length of that particular material which is by which the resistor is made. This is called cross-sectional area of that particular resistance. Now if we are talking about inductance, so inductance is represented by XL. So always you have to make a differentiation between inductor and inductance. If inductor value is given, that is always in Henry. This unit of inductance is called Henry. So if value is given in the Henry, that means you have to know the inductor value is given, not an inductance value is there. So we have to convert this inductor value with inductance. So that inductance is represented by XL, that is called 2 pi F into L. What is the difference between inductor and inductance? So this inductance is called XL, that is represented by 2 pi F into L, and F is called frequency. What is XL is called frequency. Now if I am talking about capacitance, so capacitance is denoted by Xc, and the value of Xc equal to 1 upon 2 pi f into C. And here f is called frequency. So can you tell me what is the common thing in RLC? No, there is no any common things between RNL and RNC. But there is one common thing in case of L and C. Means whenever we are calculating XL, that is the value of inductance and value of capacitance, so frequency is the common term. In case of inductance, frequency is directly proportional to the frequency. In case of capacitance, frequency is inversely proportional. Means in case of inductor and capacitor we are having frequency, but in case of resistor we are not required any frequency. So now I want to ask one question from you guys. If I apply this inductor and capacitor in case of DC circuit, what will happen? Suppose this is a resistor, inductor and capacitor. This is a representation of resistor, this is representation of inductor, and this is a representation of capacitor. And if positive and negative terminal is given, means one terminal is small and one terminal is large, that is called voltage source. If one terminal is large, one is small, voltage source, and if two parallel lines are there with the same length, that is the representation of capacitor. This is the zigzag motion, that is called resistor, and if it is a rounded, that means make in the terms of coil, that is called inductance. Now tell me, if I connect, suppose this is a voltage source and I connect with this resistance. If we are having one voltage source and I am connecting with the inductor, and if I am having a voltage source and I connect with the capacitor, this is a voltage source everywhere, and here we have L and C. Tell me what will happen in case of inductor and case of capacitor. I am asking, if I connect this inductor with this voltage source and capacitor with this voltage source, what will happen with this? Inductor is always oppose the sudden change of current, and capacitor is always oppose sudden change of voltage. Where it will happen? Where you are having a single phase AC supply or three phase AC supply. But I am told you, here I am talking about DC circuit. If it is not a AC circuit, that means your frequency is 0. Dear, your frequency is 0. Because in case of DC supply, what is the difference? If I ask you, what is the basic difference between DC and AC? In case of DC supply, our frequency is 0. That's why it is called constant supply. Look, in this particular case, if I put frequency 0 in case of XL, what will happen? I will get XL equal to 0. If I put frequency equal to 0 in this particular case, so I will get XC equal to infinite. If I am using inductor and capacitor in case of DC supply, what is going to happen? Because in DC supply we don't have any frequency, that means our inductance value will become 0. And what is the meaning of that value of resistance is 0? So if inductance value is 0, that means it is a short circuit. अगर वैल्यू रेजिस्टेंस का 0 हो जाता है, रिएक्टेंस 0 हो जाता है, उसको शॉर्ट सर्किट बोला जाता है. दैट मींस इफ यू आर यूजिंग एनी इंडक्टर इन केस ऑफ डीसी सप्लाई, योर इंडक्टर इज गोइंग टू शॉर्ट. And if we are talking about capacitance, we are getting infinite, and where we are getting infinite resistance, that means it is an open circuit. Guys, you have to know the concept, because basic electrical engineering is not beyond the concepts. Whatever you learn doesn't matter if you are not able to get the concepts. If we are using inductor and capacitor in case of DC supply, it will not work, because inductor will behave like a short circuit and capacitor will behave like a open circuit. Okay, that's why in case of DC circuit, what we are going to read about resistance only in case of DC. We are not going to use anywhere inductor and capacitor in case of DC supply. If we are using inductor anywhere in a DC supply, it will behave like a short circuit, and capacitor, that will behave like an open circuit. There is no use of inductor and capacitor in case of DC supply. That's why we are not using at all. Thank you so much.